It is 8 AM UK time, however, I am not done with my work yet. It is time for an event recap of UFC Fight Night Vegas 57, Tsarukyan versus Gamrot. I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my reaction and breakdown to the entire card, starting with the early prelim opener of Vanessa Demopulous versus Jihn Frey. I went with Vanessa Demopulous getting the job done here. But Jihn Frey won that fight, in my opinion. She won the first 2 rounds. Sure, Vanessa Demopulous got some takedowns. However, Jihn Frey landed the better shots on the feet by far. She was tagging up Vanessa Demopulous in those first 2 rounds with straight right hands and jabs and then lead hooks after a jab and stuff like that. I have no idea how they gave that fight to Vanessa Demopulous. I thought it was a very bad decision. And Jihn Frey should have won. I don't know how they give it to Vanessa Demopulous. I feel as though in women's MMA, they just score takedowns as everything and completely change the way they score the rounds because it's women's MMA for some reason. Vanessa Demopulous, sure, she landed some good knees at the end of round 2 and got a takedown at the end of round 1, but for a judge to give her a 30-27 scorecard, I have no idea how that can be possible. Jihn Frey landed way better shots on the feet, more shots on the feet in the first and second round. Vanessa Demopulous got round 3 maybe, but it was still quite close. When I heard 30-27 as a scorecard, I immediately thought to myself, okay, I got the pick wrong. Jihn Frey won the fight. It was very close, but close fights can have clear winners. And Vanessa Demopulous got gifted a decision and jumped into Bisping's arms afterwards. She's terrible at fighting, and she won't ever be anything at women's strawweight. Women's strawweight's actually a good division. She can't fight at all. Moving on. Up the card, Brian Kelleher versus Mario Bautista. Underrated performance on the card. I wonder who got performance bonuses here, because Mario Bautista looked absolutely amazing. People aren't talking about this enough. He looks really good. He did as good as Umar Nurmagomedov did against Brian Kelleher. Landed big shots on the feet. Got the takedown right into side control. Amazing control time from him. It was a great performance by Mario Bautista. He didn't get a performance bonus, though. That's a shame. I guess they feel like Thiago Moises and Josh Parisian. Forget about Mario Bautista, then. With his low-level contract, he doesn't need a bonus, does he? The guys who are giving out the bonuses weren't watching the early prelims. He had an amazing performance. Got the rear naked choke in round 1 and tapped out Brian Kelleher. Nice and easy. Nice and quick. A great performance by him. And in my opinion, the performance of his career so far, he looks massively improved. Still a young guy for the bantamweight division. I think he's got a good future ahead of him, as long as he doesn't run into an Umar Nurmagomedov or something like that. But really good performance by Mario Bautista. Looks good on the feet. Throwing some jumping kicks. You can tell he's been training a lot with Sean O'Malley, because he's a lot more fluent on the feet. Like, he throws more unorthodox techniques than we've normally seen from him. So Mario Bautista looks great, and he got the job done easily. Moving on. Up the card, JP Buys versus Cody Durden. Okay. I feel so bad for JP Buys. I'm not going to get into all the stuff that went on in his life, but he got easily beaten in the first round by Cody Durden. And not only that, he got rocked by a jab. And he's in the flyweight division of the UFC. There's nowhere to go where you can get a better chin. Normally, you're maybe too small for a division. You get rocked. Oh, well. Or you're like, he's already been up to bantamweight and he's getting rocked up there by Montel Jackson as well. Fair play, he may have shown a better chin at bantamweight, but there's nowhere to go. He married Cheyenne Buys. She convinced him to fly out to America with her. They did. She then cheated on him. She then divorced him. And now he's stuck in America. She got, what's it called? Citizenship. He did as well, but he's now on a 3-fight losing streak. And good win from Cody Durden. He looked amazing. He came out scrapping early on. I mean, he wanted revenge for his early finish against Muhammad Makayev, where he got dealt with in the first round himself. So he had a great performance. Great one from Cody Durden, but I feel terrible for JP Buys. Terrible. Durden cracks him, lands a bunch of ground and pound shots. The ref steps in because Bays ain't improving his position. He's probably going to get cut from the UFC now, unless he's ready to take a very short notice bout against someone coming off a loss. But I don't see that. They don't need many flyweights anymore. There's a lot of flyweights now, so I reckon they're just going to get rid of him, and he's going to have to grind his way back into the UFC. JP Bays is going to be on a watch list. Someone needs to be around him 24/7, because I don't know what he's going to do right now. He must be the low. There's only so much a man can take, and he is at rock. He's at bedrock right now. Okay? He's a couple levels below diamond level. You know, I'm using Minecraft references here. Okay? He's at bedrock. It's tough for JP Bays right now. I hope that he's being helped in some way. Moving on. Up the card. Raulian Paiva. If there's a millionaire out there, give him $1 million, please. Just save the poor school children of America, and let's just not let him near anywhere, any firearm. Let's just move on. Raulian Paiva versus Sergey Morozov. I'm gonna go with Sergey Morozov. What do you mean? He won the fight. What am I doing right now? Sergey Morozov won the fight. Not the best performance, though, in my opinion. He won the second and third round. I thought he was going to get a finish over Raulian Paiva, but Raulian Paiva looked good in the first round, I tell you. Landing really big shots. Right hand over the top of the sloppy check hook from Sergey Morozov was landing all night long in the first round. All round long, I guess I should say. But Sergey Morozov rallied, got the grappling going in the second and third, dominated the second round with his grappling, and then third round just did a little bit more in the output department, and Raulian Paiva just did not want it enough in the third round. I mean, he was so scared of being taken down again, but you've got to take chances on the feet, man. You need to land more in the third round, and he didn't do that. He landed great in the first, rocked Morozov early, looked like he was doing good in the stand-up. It shows how quick and good O'Malley is to school Paiva immediately in the first round, but Paiva's tough. Morozov is tough. Morozov showed him what grappling was all about in the second and third, and just had more output on the feet in the third as well. Paiva did basically nothing. You can't be angry that you didn't get that decision. Even if you did get a takedown at the end, it wasn't enough, and Morozov edged out a close decision. Moving on up the card, Shayilan versus TJ Brown. Shayilan wins. Out-scrambled TJ Brown here and there, ended up on top. Won the controlling positions. TJ Brown just has negative IQ. You can't teach that. You can't fix that. It's going to be a problem. Probably never going to pick him again. He'll likely have other fights in the UFC, but I'm not going to pick him ever again because he kept jumping for submissions and triangle chokes from on bottom. Like, he had some close moments and I guess won the second round. But the third round, he just kept going for the wrong situations. He was on top. He jumped himself on bottom, going for silly things that he shouldn't have been going for. Dude, settle in half guard on top and total strike your way to a decision win. But he doesn't do that. He jumps on bottom, or he jumps for a scramble, and then Shayilan ends up on top. But Shayilan looked good in the grappling, showed improved cardio recently because he usually gasses out. He did in this fight as well, but so did TJ Brown. He landed a lot of body kicks in this fight that I think played a big factor, and a lot of big shots on the feet as well. Knocked down TJ Brown in the first, but TJ Brown kind of rallied behind that, landed some good shots of his own. But yeah, Yilan Shad, Nuerdanbieke had a good performance, man. Good grappling. I didn't see that coming, and he beat TJ Brown as an underdog. Good for him. Another underdog. Moving on the prelims, Carlos Ulberg versus Tafon and Nchukwi. I picked Tafon to win. Probably never picking him again. That chin is sus. Didn't even look like a powerful lead hook from Carlos Ulberg, but credit to Carlos Ulberg. Big power. Not enough to KO Nchukwi with like 50 blows in a 2-minute period, but only a elbow to the forearm from Daton Young can KO Nchukwi. This sport is just a weird one when it comes to chins, I'm telling you. Power and chins have no correlation in this sport. It's crazy, but good win from Ulberg, man. Lead hook. I thought it was a jab at first because he tucked it up so nicely. Like it looked like a straight jab. That's how good the lead hook was. It had no fat on it whatsoever. Just tucked it in. Basically just threw a jab but turned over his wrist and just sort of traced the face of Tafon and Nchukwi to catch him. Rocked him badly. Landed some follow-up shots and put away Tafon Nchukwi in the first round. Tafon, I bet you he just takes everything someone gives him in the next fight. I'll pick someone to KO him in the next fight because of what he just showed in his chin there. And I bet you he just tanks everything and beats him up. Like, it's Such a weird sport, man, but good win by Carlos Ulberg. He looked good, and he's now 7-1, so he's slowly getting some experience to him, and we can start putting him against some better light heavyweight names. Moving on to the main card, Chris Curtis versus Rodolfo Vieira. Great performance by Chris Curtis. I know a lot of people aren't going to give this one credit that it deserves, but this really was a really amazing performance by Chris Curtis. I thought he won every round. Some people gave the first round to Rodolfo Vieira, but I thought Curtis was landing all of the better shots in round one. The stuffing of the takedowns, the punches that he was landing to the body when they were on the ground and to the head when they were in the clinch and stuff like that. I gave this fight to Chris Curtis easily, especially in those last 2 rounds. He clearly won those. Some of the best takedown defense I've ever seen. Rodolfo Vieira had some good shots out there. Some bad ones as well that you could see coming a mile away. And Curtis used that whizzer, stuffed the takedown, found his underhook, sprawled it well, threatened a guillotine, and then got his way out of there every single time. I mean, this was an absolute clinic on how to deal with a grappler as a striker. Don't fear him. Throw a lot of body shots, because you know what it gives you when they shoot and you throw a body shot. It gives you a natural underhook. Little bit of an advice for some of these fighters out there that can't be dealing with grapplers as a striker and don't like it. If you throw body shots against a guy who wants to take you down all the time, one, it's going to gas him out, because if he can't take you down, he's gassing himself out. If he's getting hit in the body, he's gassing himself out. If he shoots into a body shot, it's going to hurt even more. And two, if you land a body shot as he shoots, you've got a natural underhook to work to your advantage. And Chris Curtis had an amazing performance. Good straight left hands, good shots to the body. I'm not criticizing him anymore. I was annoyed that he kind of ruined some prospects in the middleweight division because he was 34 years of age, and I'm like, Phil Hawes was 31, he could have made it. And Brendan Allen was 25, 26, he could have made it, Chris Curtis. And I'm kind of annoyed by that, and it showed. I really hated him winning, but you got to give it to Chris Curtis. Dude's 29-8. That's a pretty underrated record when you fought the level of competition that he has. And he's getting better and better every fight, and that's a great win over Rodolfo Vieira. I think it's time for him to take on a top contender. I reckon he's earned a ranked opponent. I don't know who he's going to take on, but I'll have to figure something out for him. I'll probably do a fights to make next video tomorrow, but yeah, Chris Curtis looked amazing. Great performance by him. Moving on up the card to Nathan Menes versus... Oh, and also in the Curtis versus Vieira fight. Quit it with the groin shots, Vieira. I don't think Curtis has kids yet, but I think he wants them eventually. You know what I'm saying? Like, call it on the groin shots, dude. I think he landed like 4 of them in the fight. I was surprised there wasn't a point taken away. Either way, Chris Curtis gets it done, and you could see a couple of those body shots hurt Vieira, but credit to Vieira for toughing it out and sticking out there for a decision. Didn't see that happening. I thought Curtis would get a late finish because Vieira normally slows down, but he showed heart of a champion, heart of a warrior, not champion, heart of a warrior, and toughed it out until a decision loss. Moving on. Up the card, Nathan Menes versus Umar Nurmagomedov. I went with Umar Nurmagomedov by submission, and he won the fight dominantly 30-25 on some scorecards. And I don't really mind the decision. Not as in it should have gone Nate Menes' way, like he clearly lost. I mean, I don't mind the fact that they gave some 10-8 rounds out there. The third round, I think, was clearly a 10-8. And round 2 was just Umar the entire time, landing total strikes on top and dominating the round with his grappling. 74 significant strikes to 2, 128 to 46 in total strikes. Amazing performance by Umar Nurmagomedov. He got 3 takedowns in 3 rounds, and he ended every round on top. What does that tell you? Every takedown he got, Menes never got back up. It's a very good stat to see there from Umar. He had 1 takedown stuffed early, but it wasn't really a takedown. It was like a fakey one. But eventually, Nathan Menes pulled him on top of him in round 1, clinching up with him, and I guess trying to throw Umar with momentum. No idea. And then proceeded to bottom body triangle himself on bottom. No idea. And then throw shots on the feet, terrified of what was coming back his way. Like, literally terrified that he was going to get KO'd with any punch he threw. I mean, maybe that's just a sign of how good these other fighters think Umar Nurmagomedov is, but why are you signing the fight if you are going to show up like that, man? It really kind of annoyed me. Listen, Umar Nurmagomedov had an amazing performance. He is an amazing fighter. He will be a top contender at bantamweight for the future, 100%. He is young enough to eventually make his way to the top and then maybe even reign as a champion. He's 26 years of age and turn that in January. He's got a long time of being 26 left. However, Nathan Maness, Sergey Morozov scrambled for a bit. Like, dude, I've never seen someone, and this, I think Umar Nurmagomedov, people are mocking him for being boring, and it was quite boring. The third round was good. He was landing some really big kicks, front kick to the face, question mark kick to the head and stuff like that. But I think people are mocking his performance being boring. It wasn't the most entertaining. I get it. He's Dagestani. It's not going to be. If it goes to a decision, it's going to be dominant. Dominant fights aren't too entertaining anyway. But Umar Nurmagomedov, he looked good. It's just I think he would have got a finish, which we all expected, if Nathan Maness actually tried to win. I genuinely believe Nathan Maness had a sole objective in mind once he felt the strength difference of the two of them, of I'm going to make it to a decision and I'm going to try and not take too much damage. That's what I believe. I think Nathan Maness had a survivalist mindset. As soon as he got in there, he did not look like he even tried to win. Like, if he would have tried some scrambles on the ground, or tried something to defend, or tried to land some shots on the feet, tried even a leg kick or something like that, and then bring your hips away afterwards, like, he had a defeatist mindset. He showed up for a paycheck, and I think he was very content with just being the guy that was tough enough to accept it. And respect to Maness for accepting the fight. I said that at the start. And respect for making it to a decision. I genuinely think if he even tried to win, Umar would have finished him. But he would have at least had a chance to win. Like, the move he pulled him round one, silliness, body triangle himself on bottom. That's a survivalist mindset. Kevin Holland, Derek Brunson style. Did not understand that at all. But Umar's that dominant. So I guess that's just the mental edge that he has over his opponents. They know they're in for a rough night as soon as they get in there. And I think it's just a strength difference in the grappling as well. Nate Maness must have felt something early, which told him he ain't winning this one. Time to survive. And that's what Umar put him under. Umar wins. Good performance. Moving on up the card. Thiago Moises versus Christos Giagos. I went with Thiago Moises by submission. I went with Umar as well, and Chris Curtis too. I went with Thiago Moises by submission. He got the job done over Christos Giagos early. Giagos landed a couple of big strikes, even landing like a really clean right hand on Moises as well, straight away, that kind of bloodied up the face of Moises. Giagos landed a clean right hand on him, right on the temple. But Moises is a wizard on the ground. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Real good, slick grappling that he showed off here. Traversing to submission attempts. Not just laying there in side control or half guard or full guard. Really trying to make something happen in the grappling. He held the leg. Used it to get the takedown eventually. Dragged down Giagos. Took the back. Giagos was trying his best to stop that from happening. But Moises gets the back. It's a rough time for you. Put the body triangle in standing at the right angle as well. Because it wasn't with his foot against the cage. It was on the other side. So it was tough for Giagos to get out of that. And eventually he switched up the hands enough to get the choke under the chin. And also the way he finished it. I remember this now. He didn't finish it with the grip. Any of the grips that you would normally see of the this or the this. He finished it with like just a forearm pressure on his own rear naked choke attempt. You know what I'm saying? He just sort of like, he knew he had it under the chin, on the neck, which is good enough. And he already had the angle for it. So he didn't even need to get the submission with the grips. He just sort of just pushed with his other arm on his own forearm to generate enough pressure to get the choke because it was already under the chin. And Giagos, I think, thought he was safe because he had the hand control and wrist control 2-on-1. But Moises got some tricks in the jiu-jitsu department. Apparently, he learned it from Grant Dawson. Great win by Thiago Moises. He wants Pat Sabatini next, I think he called out. Maybe he called out someone else. Joe Selecki. I think he beats either of them, whoever he called out. Moving on. Josh Parisian versus Alan Baudot. Parisian got a performance bonus for this. I don't understand how Bautista didn't. But yeah, Josh Parisian wins. Alan Baudot knocked him down early, beat him up real bad early in that first round, rocked him with an uppercut hook combo, put him down, beat him up on the ground. I picked Alan Baudot to win. I thought he'd have a much better chance on the feet, much slicker striking I expected from him, and that's what he showed early on. Couple of good leg kicks, couple of good shots, uppercut, right hand, couple of good ground and pound moments as well. Parisian eventually found his way out of it. And Alan Baudot, I just hate watching these heavyweights because I don't want to become a UFC heavyweight. But I'm a big guy, and I want to become a UFC heavyweight after watching some of these fights. I swear to God, like, you have trained your entire life, Alan Baudot. You're 34. You've been in the sport of MMA since 2013. You probably trained for a few years before that, before you took your first pro fight. You've likely been training over a decade for this. You are gassing out after 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the first round. You're completely gassed. Of course you lost. Don't bother showing up again. Like, that annoys me so much. Fair play to Parisian. He used the grappling. He landed a bunch of shots. But Baudot just has no energy, no gas tank. He's completely exhausted in the first round. Alan Baudot, Josh Parisian, both of you even, because Parisian looked like he was slowing down too. You guys must surely watch Tom Aspinall and see him not get tired after a few minutes of the first round. Watch Cyril Gane go 5 rounds in your own gym as your main training partner, Alan Baudot. And you must watch him go 5 rounds and not get tired, right? Even Ngannou can do it now, and you have no excuse because you ain't that explosive. You better have good cardio. I'm sick to death of these fat heavyweights showing up in disgraceful shape and disgracing the sport with their absolute terrible performances, fucking slopping all over each other with their big tits. It's so annoying, man. It's so annoying. Show up in shape or don't show up. You better have good cardio if you're not ripped to the gills like Ngannou. It really annoys me. Moving on, though. He gets a performance bonus for that sloppy-ass TKO in the second on a gassed-out opponent. Fair play, he toughed out some adversity, but Bautista looked great. He deserved that money way more. Ulberg would have deserved it more. Like, these guys don't get money. The heavyweights get paid like 30k to show, 30k to win. These other guys are getting like 10 for 10, 12 for 12, 14 for 14. Give them the 50k rather than these fat messes. Moving on up the card. Neil Magny versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. Amazing performance by Shavkat. Gets the submission in the second round. Really good win from him. Neil Magny, again, just can't deal with grappling. I saw this coming. I thought he was going to take down Magny and beat him up. I actually said he was going to KO Magny, actually, on the feet, so I take that back. But he got the takedowns both times. He caught the kick of Magny in the first round, landed a big right hand, knocked him off balance with it and put him down in the first round, and Neil Magny just never got back up to his feet. Shavkat's got really good wrist control on the far side, landed some good ground and pound shots. Magny came very close with some up kicks to the face that I was worried about, but Shavkat just ate them well. Get back on top, landed some good ground and pound to the body, which I always like to see. It shows good fight IQ. Landed some big shots to the head as well. Big shots to the body, big shots to the head, just sort of riding out side control, landing some elbows in the crucifix-ish position. Good stuff from Shavkat Rakhmonov going to the body and head there. And then round 2, he's against the cage with Neil Magny. And for the life of me, I loved Shavkat's performance. But Neil Magny, you know this guy has just tried in the second round. Just inside and outside trip you. 3 times over. He tries to inside trip you, Cejudo style. Outside trip you, inside trip you. Your answer to deal with this is to give him your leg. He wants your leg, Neil Magny. You have been in I loved Shavkat's performance, but let me tell you this, man. Look at the second round again. I loved his performance. Neil Magny, you've been in MMA for 2 decades. You're not rocked. You're not concussed. You've been around into a fight. The guy has tried to get your leg so he can trip you 3 times. And Neil Magny, I'm not even exaggerating this, leg triangles him. He puts his legs in a triangle position for Shavkat Rakhmonov to sweep him with. And what do you know? He sweeps Neil Magny with it. Wraps his leg around Rakhmonov's and ties it behind his other leg. He's on one leg now. And Rakhmonov's on one leg with the underhooks, and he's got the sweep ready to take. You gave him the sweep. And what do you know? You're on bottom. No shit, Sherlock. Jesus, Magny is so... I hate trashing these fighters, but my God, you've been in the sport for 2 decades. If anything, you should have fight IQ. You don't have KO power. Your cardio ain't great. Your skill ain't great. Your grappling ain't good. Your striking ain't good. At least have some fight IQ. But Shavkat Rakhmonov, amazing fight IQ. Amazing performance. Went to the body on the ground. Passed over into some good submission attempts on the ground in round 2. And I also really like this about Shavkat Rakhmonov. Shows good fight IQ again. He could have pulled the guillotine on about 4 occasions in round 2. It was coming up with about 2 minutes left, and Magny kept giving him the guillotine position. It was the position that they were in. He had one leg hooked on Magny against a cage on the ground, and Magny was sort of just giving him the head, trying to come up on a single leg. And Rakhmonov had the option to pull a guillotine about 4 times. But he waited until there was enough time left in the round to where if he didn't get the guillotine and ended up on bottom, he wouldn't lose the round because of it. And wouldn't be stuck on bottom with a minute left to go. Very smart from Shavkat Rakhmonov. Showed a great amount of fight IQ. He found the guillotine. He looked up and he said, okay. Or he looked to the side because the clocks are on the side now, I guess. And he didn't go for it the first few times. But then said, okay, there's enough time left where if I don't get this guillotine and I end up on bottom, I'm still going to be fine to win this round easily. And he cranked the guillotine and got it. Neil Magny tapped with 2 seconds left. Again, he heard the klaxon. Got put in a guillotine a few seconds afterwards. So he must know there's only a few seconds left, but taps anyway. Neil Magny, man. Yeah, I picked Shavkat. He won. Amazing performance. I think he's not going to get the Wonderboy fight. Wonderboy ain't taking no grapplers. Leave Wonderboy alone. You'd easily beat him. But Magny, man, what a clown. Honestly, sorry, I know I'm not a fighter, but these are just so obvious things that I just don't get why he keeps doing it against Chiesa, pulling himself on bottom. He genuinely has. He's somewhere on the spectrum, I think. Respect for getting through that and becoming an MMA fighter, but just respect, you know. Not easy having an extra chromosome. Moving on, up the card, Arman Tsarukyan versus Mateusz Gamrot. One of the best fights I've ever seen in MMA history. One of the best skilled fights. Not the best fights in terms of a war, but one of the best skilled fights I've ever seen in MMA history. I've never seen skill like this in an MMA fight before. The scrambles that they showed in the first 2 rounds were some of the best things I've ever seen in my entire life, honestly. I mean, it was next level scrambles that they showed in the first round and the second round. Scrambling back and forth. Gamrot refused to stay on bottom early on. Arman could not pin him down. He kept trying to reverse the takedowns of Gamrot. Gamrot kept shooting first because I feel like Arman knew he had a bit of an advantage on the feet. But for Gamrot to grind out the later rounds the way he did, even with taking all of those body kicks, massive respect. Massive, massive respect. But I had Arman winning. I had Arman winning the first 2 rounds in close rounds. I thought he did more damage on the feet, landed more on the feet. I thought he won the 4th. He landed a spinning back fist that some people said was a slip. I called it as a knockdown live because it looked like a knockdown. I saw it pretty clearly. But until the replay afterwards, we didn't really know for sure. And I was questioning myself a little bit. Gamrot may have won the round without that moment. But when you watch the replay, he lands a spinning back fist flush and knocks down Gamrot. You can understand with the judging, if they don't see that, they could score it for Gamrot. But hey, judges. What's the rush after the round is over? I think the judges should be able to call into the producer and say, can we get a slow-mo on that spinning back fist? Why not? When you're playing with people's careers and livelihoods and half their money, why not? Yeah, can we get a replay slow-mo of that spinning back fist? Have you got an angle of that? Oh, you do? You're about to play it now? Okay, hold on the judging, guys. Let's watch this spinning back fist. Oh, it landed clean and dropped him. Okay, round 4 to Arman Tsarukyan. It's just annoying to me that that is not even a thing that's even thought about by the UFC. Open scoring. Open scoring. No, just do these basic things that help judging, in my opinion. But Gamrot, I still give him a ton of respect. It was a razor close fight. He won the 3rd clearly and started making a bit of a comeback. Won the 3rd, in my opinion, very clear. The 5th is also an argument for his round because he got the grappling going in a very close round on the feet. Even though Arman maybe landed better shots, Gamrot landed really good shots with the hands as well. He was outboxing Arman in this fight, but Arman's kicks to the body were doing some big work against Gamrot. But if you look at the UFC Instagram and look at some of the pictures that were taken, Mateusz Gamrot takes the unanimous decision in an instant classic. A lot of the pictures are just Gamrot's tagging him with big shots with the hands. So he did land a lot more than we thought he did. But Arman should have won rounds 1, 2, and 4. It's just the judges can't see if that's a knockdown, and they have to give off their scorecards too early, I guess. Close fight, though. Amazing fight. Really great performance. Gamrot called out Dustin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje is who he means. He trains with Poirier, so he's probably not calling him out. He probably beat both of them. I think he beats both of those guys. I think he'd gas Gaethje out with single legs. Gaethje likes to leg kick against wrestlers. Gamrot likes to pick up that single leg, grab it, ankle pick you, yoink that single leg up high above you, high single. It's just, it's a bad matchup for Gaethje. Gaethje could land a big punch and KO him, I get it, but if I was Gaethje and Poirier, and I was seeing these upcoming lightweights, I'd be saying, Dariush, you take it, dude. We're going to fight each other. If I'm Poirier and Gaethje, I'm fighting each other right now. Like, hey, Dana, turns out we're ready for September. Me versus Poirier too. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get away from these up-and-comers because they are going to ragdoll you guys. They're going to gash you out with their pace and they're going to take you down. Ain't no place for a striker at lightweight anymore. These Europeans, Eurasians, Caucasus fighters, different level with the grappling, the stand-up mixed in. It just, they're complete fighters. Tough, good cardio, durable, quick, powerful, strong, explosive. They're everything combined. The most well-rounded group of fighters we've seen come up recently. Gamrot's leading it. Arman's there. Makhachev's obviously already there. Fiziev's on the come up soon. Shavkat at welterweight we saw today. It's just crazy. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. I had it Arman 1, 2, and 4, but it's good that Gamrot gets his chance because he's 31. He probably would have never seen the top of the division again if he lost this one and had to regroup until he was about 34. So it's good that now is his time. I hope he stays active, gets back in there in November or October maybe, who knows, and starts to get some momentum towards a title shot when he's 32. At least Arman's 25 and has a ton of time to recover. He's 25 and he's already this good. He'll be back and he'll be at the title sooner than later. Toodle Pip, I'll see you later. Goodbye. Yeah.